Inside Mackey Arena in West Lafayette, Indiana for BTN Volleyball. Notre Dame makes a short drive to face off with 11th-ranked Purdue.
Annie Drews is a powerful attacker from that right side. She enters this weekend leading the Big Ten in kills per set. She is an impact player and Purdue's go-to hitter on the right side.
Coming up next, the championship match of the Active Ankle Challenge as Notre Dame faces Purdue. It'll be a 3-2 lead for Notre Dame as heading back to serve for Purdue. Ashley Evans, the redshirt freshman out of Liberty Township, Ohio. That one does catch the line cross court for the Irish. Notre Dame comes into this match 3-7 on the year. Won 2 matches yesterday against Morehead State and St. Louis after an 0-6 start to the season. Purdue 9-2. A receiving error by Purdue. So the point to Notre Dame. Take a look at the starting lineup for the Fighting Irish, presented by Tachi Kara, Kuhn, Fry, Mazzanegro, Smith, Grimmer, and Higgins. You'll also see Jenny Hauser in there as well. In the middle, Faye Adelajaw with the kill for Purdue. And middles for the Boilermakers is going to be key throughout this entire season. They feel like they're 2 of the best 3 maybe in all of the conference. Take a look at Val Nickel with the set to Faye Adelajaw. Here is Amanda Neal to serve. First year as a libero for the Boilermakers, taking over for Carly Kramer. Set to the near side and the block. Combination there of KiKi Jones and Annie Drews. KiKi Jones at 6'1", Annie Drews at 6'4", putting up a huge block on that left side attack. Negro over to Smith. Epinesa off the hands, and the point for Sam Epinesa, tied up at 5 in set 1. Take a look at the starters for the Boilermakers, presented by Tachi Kara, Nickel, Evans, Workman, Jones, Adelajaw, and Drews. We'll see a lot of Amanda Neal. The back set for the Irish. Nicole Smith with the one-handed save. She'll take the swing at the 10-foot line and puts it away. Smith was not expected to play coming into this weekend. She had an ankle injury. As you get a look at Dave Shondell, the head coach for the Boilermakers in his 12th season. Led Purdue to the Elite 8 last year, lost to Wisconsin, but NCAA tournament in 9 appearances in his 12 seasons. 7 of them, Shondell has led the Boilermakers to the Sweet 16. Nickel with the back set to Drews. Irish out of system, but a swing from Smith and the kill. Nicole Smith, redshirt senior out of Franklin, Tennessee. 27 kills in 2 matches yesterday, 16 against St. Louis, and 11 for her against Morehead State. Epinesa elevates and puts it away for Purdue. Look at Debbie Brown in her 24th year leading the Fighting Irish. 30 years overall for her, 18 appearances in the NCAA tournament for Notre Dame under Debbie Brown. A little long on the serve by Annie Drews. Point goes back to the Irish. First service error of the match for Purdue. Look at the Boiler block party. Trying to get in the head of Nicole Smith. Tip goes to Annie Drews. Maddie Dilfer now setting for the Irish. Point to Notre Dame, and we welcome back in Audrey Flaw. And Audrey, nice to have you with us. We apologize for the technical difficulties, but so far Notre Dame off to a good start.
Yeah, Notre Dame came ready to play, and they are putting a lot of pressure on Purdue. Right now, Purdue's serve-receive game seems to be lagging a little bit. Tough serves from Notre Dame's end line.
Epinesa with another big swing and another termination for Sam Epinesa.
Well, let's take a look at Epinesa again, driving to the net, a nice explosive approach, and she hits the ball at the highest point possible. We'll see her playing a lot of front row today. We'll see if she gets the nod to play 6 rotations or not.
Overpass, almost the point for Purdue, but the Irish save it, keep it alive. And the tip, there'll be a whistle. The illegal back row attack goes against Purdue.
Well, Val Nickel tried to set her back row attack, or you have to take off behind that 3-meter line. You can land in front, but her foot had gone past that 10-foot line, and so that's why the point was merited to Notre Dame.
Natalie Johnson serving for the Irish. One of 4 freshmen in the starting lineup. And a mistake by the Boilermakers. Zaria Stahl with the attack error, and a timeout for Purdue, an 11-7 lead for the Irish. Dave Shondell wants to talk things over with his team. Back at Mackey Arena, an 11-7 lead for Notre Dame over Purdue. In the first set, Mike Wolf alongside Audrey Flaw. Notre Dame off to a strong start. Libero, Natalie Johnson back serving. Val Nickel with the set to Stahl, and it does catch the line. The freshman with the kill for Purdue.
Well, you see there from Purdue what they are capable of doing when the pass gets up to Val Nickel. They bring the outside hitter into the court, opens up some angles. So Val Nickel not just setting the ball high to the pin, she's going to move these other hitters around.
Maddie Dilfer with the back set. Jenny Hauser. Out of system. Notre Dame with the tip. Good coverage by the Boilermakers. Another chance for Stahl. Cross court, off the tape and out of play as it goes off an Irish player, and the point to Purdue.
Yeah, we saw some good transition volleyball there, both sides of the net, keeping the ball off the ground. Look at that elevation from number 10, Zaria Stahl for Purdue.
Smith looks to the corner. Good job defensively in the back row for the Boilermakers. Cross court, Hauser out of play. Another point for Purdue, and the deficit down to 1.
And Notre Dame really needs Hauser to come alive on that right side. She is a huge point scorer for her team, the All-American for Notre Dame. The ball will get to her a lot, especially out of system balls. They'll pop up to that right front area of the court for her to swing at.
So McCune with the swing. Nickel back to Stahl and out of play, does not get the touch call. Zaria Stahl, freshman out of Elkhart, Indiana, has seen some time alongside Danielle Catino. Number 3 recruiting class in all of the nation for Purdue coming into this year. A lot of talent in the freshman class, but also good talent returning for Dave Shondell. Smith out of the back row. Neal was there. Zaria Stahl off the block. And Notre Dame can't control it. The point to Purdue.
But what you're seeing on both sides of the net is the blockers are slowing the ball down, allowing the defense to play up the ball. That time, the libero for Notre Dame not controlling the ball as well as she would have liked to. But on both sides of the net, nice touches off the block, which allow for a transition attack.
Sam Fry trying to chase that ball down and tip it. Number 3 for the Irish. Ties it up at 12. Sam Fry in her first year, freshman out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Nickel serving for the Boilermakers. Drews with a big swing. Good job defensively by the Irish. Off the block and down. And the kill for the Irish. Take a look at the State Farm State of Success, and Purdue 8-2 all-time at home versus Notre Dame. 13-4 matches played at Mackey Arena. 3 of those exhibition matches, though. So in matches that count, 10-4 for Purdue. Tooling the block, Faye Adelajaw for the Boilermakers.
Well, we're going to be calling Alaja's name a lot for Purdue. She runs that slide very fast behind Nickel, and their rhythm has gotten good. In fact, Val Nickel, the setter for Purdue, has done a much better job this season in getting in rhythm with her hitters, and especially with Annie Drews. That's something Shondell has been very impressed with.
Big solo stuff by Sam Epinesa coming through for the Boilermakers on that attack by Sam Fry.
Well, take a look at how she moves her feet to get right in front of the attacker's right arms, and she seals the net very well. That was the junior for Purdue.
Boilermakers stealing the momentum back in this first set, up 15-13 now on Notre Dame. And a timeout as the Irish look to be in control early on, but now Purdue with the momentum. Give us your answer for our Twitter question of the night, which we will show you as well. Cole Smith, number 9 for the Irish with the kill.
Well, a great pass from Notre Dame's passing team in the backcourt allows Nicole Smith to be in system. And again, we are seeing on Notre Dame's side of the net an offense that is not just set to the pin. They're moving that ball around, which is an exciting way to play volleyball.
Epinesa with the kill. As Purdue up by 2. We take a look at the question of the night on Twitter, twitter.com/BTN Volleyball. Who is the best setter in the Big Ten? Let us know. You can see your tweet on TV. I'm sure Audrey has her opinion about that. I have mine. Give us yours. Use the hashtag B1G Volleyball, which you see in the top right-hand corner of your screen. To a 3-point lead for Purdue. Good stuff for the Boilermakers. Annie Drews off the block. Number 18 for the Boilermakers with the kill, and it's an 18-14 lead for Purdue.
Well, and you see her athleticism here. The ball's set a little too tight, but she is fearless. She drives in and swipes the ball off of the block for a point.
The dump over on 2, Hannah Montenegro with the kill, number 13 for the Irish. She heads to the bench. 2-setter system, but it's not a 6-2 for Notre Dame. Maddie Dilfer and Hannah Montenegro out there for the Irish.
Right, and Montenegro at 5'11", she is an offensive threat when she is up there. You can see what can happen when the ball is passed nice and tight to the set.
Another kill for Annie Drews. Annie Drews has come on as of late. Breakout weekend, according to Dave Shondell. Last weekend, she had 33 kills against Western Kentucky, then 23 against Western Michigan. She leads the Big Ten in kills and points per set. Junior that the Boilermakers are thrilled about emerging here in her 3rd season in West Lafayette. Great defensive effort by Purdue. And a stop.
Wow, that is a huge block. Let's take a look at this penetration by Val Nickel, number 2, the setter. She's only 6'1", I say only 6'1", but you know, with kids that are 6'4" in the lineup, that doesn't seem all that tall, but she touches 10-5, so huge presence at the net.
Val Nickel, last year we saw her in the 6-2 with Rachel Davis. As Boilermakers saw, that was the best way to get as many players involved as possible because they wanted to have Val Nickel also swing in the 6-2, but now just in the 5-1 in that sole setter role, and it's worked for Purdue so far this season.
Right, and what Shondell wants to see from Nickel is her being an attacker in the front court. Big Ten volleyball, it is an easy way to score points if you can pass the ball up to the net. A kid like Val Nickel can go up and attack the ball. So he'd like to see her be more offensive-minded when the ball is, when she can attack the ball.
Val Nickel, 3rd team All-American a year ago, and you see what she can get done on the block with KiKi Jones. But For Dave Shondell, he has talked about from day one when Val Nickel joined this team, they wanted to mold her into being one of the top setters in the nation. She's still on that path, but has matured a lot in her days with the Boilermakers.
Right, and she's become a very good leader for the team. I think, we use that term kind of loosely sometimes, but she has understood that she has to adjust her personality to meet the needs of each individual player on her team, and I think she's matured a lot in that aspect as well.
It's a big difference this year for Purdue compared to last year. They had a bold, aggressive leadership, which worked very well for them a season ago. This year, though, someone like Val Nickel, KiKi Jones, more laid back, but still getting the information to the rest of the team that they need. And another stuff, Epinesa coming through again, a second solo block for the junior for Purdue.
Well, and it is tough to block the slide. It happens very fast, and your timing as a blocker has to be spot on, which it is there from Sam Epinesa.
Overpass, and it's out of play, and Purdue just 3 points away from taking set one. Get a look at Lydia Dimke, 6'2" freshman out of Minnesota. A great night last night against Morehead State. Also a good serve there, results in the point for the Boilermakers. Dimke had 8 kills, 0 errors on 10 attacks to lead this Purdue team against Morehead State, and she's keeping it going here against Notre Dame.
Yep, Purdue is picking their targets on serve receive. Debbie Brown adjusting the pattern. You see her coming off the bench there, telling the serve receive person to move up, get out of the way, let somebody else pass that ball.
The bump set from Ashley Evans to Epinesa, and another. Sam Epinesa with a great first set for Purdue, and they're on the verge. It's set point for the Boilermakers.
Well, it's always nice to see what a team can do when they're out of system. A non-setter touching the ball, putting it nice and high to Epinesa to score.
Val Nickel with the run to the ball, the roll shot from Epinesa. Out of the back row to Ashley Evans. Dilfer back set to Hauser. KiKi Jones ends it in the middle, and set one goes to Purdue.
Wow, Purdue showing a lot of great things there in that second part of that first set. Nice ball control defensively, and then finally a middle attack there from KiKi Jones ends the first set.
18-4 run for the Boilermakers to end that first set. They win it 25-15.
And then things just fell apart in the first contact, serve, receive, and defense.
Sydney Kuhn gets the first point of the second set. We take a look at with their new head coach and Steve Aird. We'll get there to look at the Big Ten and the second straight point for Notre Dame to start this second set. This is how they started the first, but didn't keep it going.
That's right, and right now they seem to be picking on Purdue's libero, Amanda Neal. We'll see if she can sharpen up that serve-receive game.
This time it's Kate Workman receiving the serve. Montenegro back set to Fry. Sam Fry, the freshman, with another kill. 3-0 start again for Notre Dame.
Now, Sam Fry, an impressive freshman. We talked about her productivity in the middle. She likes to run that slide, and she hits deep angles. So as a right back defensive player, you want to play the perimeter of the court, and that ball will come right to you.
The air from Ashley Evans, and you see the numbers on Sam Fry for this year, 2.1, 1 kills per set, leads the team in blocks, second in kills. Big swing from Annie Drews, and the point for the Boilermakers, their first of the second set. Off the block it goes, so the point is Drews able to tool the hands.
Yeah, and as a lefty on that left side of the court, you have to line up a little differently for players like that. So we'll see if Notre Dame can adjust their blocking pattern when she is playing in that left back position.
Officials will say no pancake for Purdue, so another kill for Sam Fry. We talk about the freshman, as Val Nickel gets a few words in with the official after that last call, but the freshman for Notre Dame, they lost one of their stars, Antonia Lubwe, who is out for the year. She is the two-time All-America honorable mention, and she's not playing this year with an ACL injury. A double touch called against Purdue. Numerous errors now on the Boilermakers, and this is what cost them against Western Kentucky last week.
Yeah, and if you are, the coach of a team that makes these unforced errors, it just drives you crazy because there's so many aspects of Purdue's game that's strong. Offensively, they are incredible. They've got some really good middles, strong outside attackers, and of course Drews on that right side. So if they can control the ball and stay in system, they'll have nice results like that one in the middle that we just saw.
Block ready for Nicole Smith. Montenegro goes back to her, but it's out of play. Another point to Purdue.
Now, as an outside hitter, you want to be able to take multiple swings in the rally if needed, and you want to keep asking for the set. So you get blocked once, you want to go up and hit stronger, not make an error.
Good effort in the back row by Ashley Evans, but it goes into the net. And again, Purdue just all out of sorts in this second set. Take one more look at it. A diving effort from Ashley Evans, and Dave Shondell has called her in the early part of this season the glue for Purdue. And if she's the glue, Annie Drews, she's the star, is what she's done so far for the Boilermakers.
Yeah, Drews is a terminator. She will take the ball. She hits it so high that she often hits over top of the block. And so defensively, playing around the block is really crucial, but it comes at you so quickly. She hits with such force.
Fortunate for Notre Dame, they were not called for a lift. Tip over by Hauser. Epinesa goes back with another tip, so long rally going here. Smith off the block and down, the point to Notre Dame.
Smith has been impressive coming off that ankle sprain. She's taken big swings at the ball. That ball's not set perfectly, but what she does really well is she gets her feet to the ball and has that ball over her right shoulder when she swings high.
Kathleen Severin into the match, the senior out of Naperville. Naperville, Illinois for the Irish. Big swing from KiKi Jones for the point.
KiKi Jones just so fast on that slide. Val Nickel, I like the way she's setting the ball low and fast to the pin, and there's such great timing between her and those middle attackers this year. See a big improvement.
The ace for the Boilermakers is Notre Dame not on the same page on serve receive.
Well, when there's a ball that's between two players, somebody has to call it and then call it again. And so you want to make sure that you are aggressively calling the ball as soon as it leaves the server's hands.
Set goes to Kuhn off the block. Sydney Kuhn, freshman out of Wichita, Kansas. Another freshman, as we mentioned, who's second on the team in kills, coming off a 9-kill, 10-dig performance against St. Louis on Friday night. Nickel decides to go over. That's that aggressive attack that Shondell wants from his setter, but Notre Dame able to get the point.
But what Shondell wants to see from Val Nickel is her jumping and maximizing that great vertical that she has. It was kind of a sloppy attack. And so I don't think that that was the exact attack that Shondell wants to see from Nickel.
Stahl with the roll shot over. They were going to try to string together a few points. Seem to be going back and forth now after Notre Dame had that big lead to start off the second set.
Right, and again, Stahl gets called inside there. The ball's not all the way out to the pin, and so that opens up some angles to do some roll shots and tips. So it seems to be the type of set that she likes to swing at from the left side.
Guerra's back serving for Purdue. Missed 4 weeks of training. She has the ace, another for the Boilermakers, and eventually getting back into the second set due to the serving, but KiKi Jones missed due to a bruised rib, was out for 4 weeks of conditioning. She was 60% at about the start of the season, but now getting closer back to 100%. Dilfer sets it to Hauser, but that one was offline.
This is just a poorly executed set. The ball Just a little too tight, mishandling error by Notre Dame setter. Just sloppy play.
Dilfer sets that one to Hauser. This time she terminates off the block. I mentioned Maddie Dilfer is the freshman setter for Notre Dame. Anna Montenegro is the junior. Montenegro will play in the front row, and Dilfer will play in the back row. Nickel to Stahl. Good coverage by Dimke. Stahl with another chance. Almost a joust at the net. Fortunate for the Boilermakers, able to keep it alive. Diving effort by Amanda Neal, but it will not go for Purdue as they're not able to keep it in play, and the point to Notre Dame.
Well, great defensive effort on both sides of the net. Nice roll shot, well disguised. They get the first touch, but we're not able to get a second touch on that ball. Nicely executed roll shot by Notre Dame.
Joe Brimmer back in to serve for the Irish. Stahl, big run up and elevation for her. Long bump set, free ball opportunity for the Boilermakers. Adelaja with the kill.
Let's look at Adelaja and how she elevates off that 1 foot. Such a fast snap, a great arm on that kid. She will score a lot as long as Val Nickel can get her the ball, and Val Nickel will get her the ball if that backcourt can pass it up to her.
Adelaja, 5th in the Big Ten in hitting percentage after the service error there by the Boilermakers. Just a redshirt sophomore, but continues to take steps for this Purdue team, and also considered a natural leader, even though she's just a sophomore. It is her 3rd year and a big part of the leadership on this Purdue team. Drews from the 10-foot line. Neal with a good up. Ball goes off of the net. Notre Dame unable to get it over.
Yeah, Drew sends over an easy roll shot, and it's surprising that Notre Dame can't control the ball and then score on it. Look at that dig, though, from the backcourt there from Purdue's libero, number 7, Amanda Neal.
Sam Fry with the tip, and again, Amanda Neal. Somehow she kept that off the floor. And Notre Dame unable to get the connection between the setter and the hitter. But Amanda Neal, just wow on this effort.
Yeah, she's putting on a defensive show here. Amanda Neal showing how good she is, tracking balls down. Competitive kid. Nothing's going to drop in her area. That's what you want from your libero.
Dave Shondell said that Amanda Neal could be the best Boilermaker libero that he's ever had by the time her career is all said and done, but he really loves her athleticism, and we saw it in that last sequence.
Well, what he likes is that she does 3 things really well. She passes well on serve receive, she plays defense, and she's got a great serve. Most bros can only do 2 out of those 3 things well, so she has the trifecta. She can do it all.
Another great up from Neal. Annie Drews pushes it off the block. Point to Purdue, and it's a 1-point second set.
Well, these defensive plays that Neal is doing really sets a tone for her team. She is showing fight and grit and determination. She keeps the ball alive and allows her hitters the opportunity to score the big points. So big time play from Purdue's libero.
Into the net on the air, another point to Purdue, and all knotted up at 14 here in the second set. Seeming very similar to what we saw in the first set. Notre Dame got off to a good start, but here comes the Boilermakers.
That's right, Boilermakers putting a lot of pressure right now. Those defensive plays again by Neal, keeping the ball alive. Not easy to get a kill for Notre Dame.
Ashley Evans in the back row couldn't keep that off the floor. Another kill for Nicole Smith. And Notre Dame with a 1-point lead, but Purdue is back in it because of the play of their libero, Amanda Neal, sticking out the hand, getting the pancake. Back to West Lafayette in a moment. On your computer or even on your iPad or other tablet, you get a chance to see a player like Amanda Neal. 9 digs, but she's had a bunch of other great plays that will not go down in the stat sheet.
Oh, that's right. The biggest improvement from last year, Shondell says, is Amanda Neal, and we're seeing just her defensive abilities being displayed here, especially here in the second set.
Coach Shondell still trying to figure things out with his team. No definite lineup set yet for the Boilermakers as they sort things out in the non-conference season. This is the time for that as they get ready for Big Ten play. Nickel. Set goes to Epinesa. Evans will bump set it. Again, Notre Dame just cannot get set up and into system. The rally continues. Once more to Epinesa, but it's out of play on the air.
You know, and you hate to see the rally end on a silly hitting error. You know, if you're off balance or it's not a perfect set in volleyball, you want to better the ball, put the ball in, see what you can do with a not so perfect set. You just don't want to whack it out of bounds.
Free ball chance for Notre Dame. Hauser puts it away.
Right now, Notre Dame is serving Epinesa. She is the left front player for Purdue, but she's back on serve receive. She's getting in a ton of trouble. Can only free ball it over. Therefore, Notre Dame clearly in system and has control of the play.
Service there, though, for the Irish. And Purdue will have their chance here, down by 1. Workman back into the match to serve for the Boilermakers. Both teams played 5-set matches yesterday. 5-set match for Notre Dame against Morehead State and a 5-set match against St. Louis for the Boilermakers. Notre Dame came out with a victory while Purdue lost for the second time this year, but a huge stuff again, Nickel and Jones.
Well, watch Purdue dominate at the net. They had a soft block and here a stuff block, and again, it's Val Nickel. It's so great when you have a setter that can do multiple things, not just set the offense. She's a great server, and there we see how she can block, take care of that right front area of the court.
And again, another silly error by the Boilermakers. You saw it from Epinesa, now from Azaria Stahl. Audrey, you mentioned all that Val Nickel can do. Last year when these two teams met in South Bend, Nickel had almost a quadruple double. She was a dig and 3 blocks away from reaching that mark when she was playing in that 6-2 where she got to attack and set. There's Nickel with the tip over. Stahl puts it away, though, as the ball came back on Purdue's side.
And another impressive dig from the backcourt of Purdue. Really well done to keep the ball in play. And then here you see the finishing play, number 10 for Purdue, Azaria Stahl.
Dilfer with a nice back set to Jenny Hauser, and Debbie Brown had said that the connection between those two has been good. That's what they like from Maddie Dilfer, is when she can set up Jenny Hauser, that 2-time All-American.
Right, and I like the speed of the approach. A few times from Notre Dame's side of the net, we really didn't see the outside hitters transitioning off the net. That time, Hauser does a great job on the right side, transitioning deep and getting a full approach.
Azaria Stahl with another kill, and the freshman ties up the second set. Always numerous family connections throughout all of volleyball and athletics in general, and Maddie Dilfer, the daughter of Trent Dilfer, former quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens, won the Super Bowl. Maddie Plumlee, who has not played quite as much for the Irish, but has the famous basketball family with Duke, and her mom also played basketball at Purdue. And now the Boilermakers with the 1-point lead, and again, momentum swinging in Purdue's favor, and there'll be a timeout. Welcome back to Mackey Arena, and Purdue led by Annie Drews. Drews with 7 kills, 0 attack errors, hitting .583 so far in this match, and Purdue wants more from her in the close of the second set and try to take that 2-0 lead. Val Nickel with the ace. Receiving error on Notre Dame, but a somewhat tough serve from Val Nickel.
Yeah, she is a great server, goes up and jumps aggressively. Look at that float on the ball. You can see right at the last minute, it's taken a nice dip. She's got a very, very aggressive serve.
Back row attack for the Irish. Neal will set it to Stahl, went for the corner, did not get it. Point to Notre Dame, and it's back to a 1-point set.
Now, Val Nickel, the other thing that's impressive, she's a great defensive player, like you said, in that rally, making good plays, playing that first contact. Sometimes setters get too involved in just setting. They're one-dimensional, but Nickel really getting it all done for her team.
86 digs for Val Nickel coming into this match. There is Nickel with the quick set to Adelaja, and another point for Purdue.
Well, Purdue looks amazing when they pass the ball up to Nickel. Let's look at this again. A nice lateral step from number 13, Faye Adelaja. A very quick snap on the ball.
Back set to Sam Fry, and she terminates.
Notre Dame showing a lot of fight here, trying to stay in system, running that fast slide on the right side. So again, this is a game of serving and passing. If you can control the ball on that first contact, you give your team a huge advantage.
Just out of reach there of Adelaja to put a good swing on the ball. Another chance, Nickel. Back set to Drews, and she'll get the point. Catching the line, 23-21. Boilermakers 2 points from a 2-0 lead.
Well, that's a big-time swing from Annie Drews, but a big-time set from Val Nickel. She was running to the left front area of the court and pushes that ball clear across the net to get it into Drews' hands to score.
Good sign for Purdue as you take another look at Drews. 6'4", there that catches the line, so much height, and a dynamic player who could be, according to Dave Shondell, a bigger threat than the star Ariel Turner that you saw dominate the court for the Boilermakers in the past few years.
Yeah, that is a huge compliment because Turner was one heck of a player. But what gives Annie Drews a huge advantage, especially on that play, is when Nickel can get her one-on-one. If she's one-on-one against a block, she's going to score every time. So nice job from Val Nickel, the setter, again, to push that ball clear across to her go-to hitter on the right.
Wednesday night, it's a rematch of last season's national championship match. 4th-ranked Wisconsin battles number 3 Penn State. Coverage starts at 7:30 Eastern, presented by Tachikara on BTN and BTN to go. Finally, Audrey, conference play is here. The Big Ten, the best conference in all of the nation, so we are ready for what will be some premier volleyball, some of the top volleyball you can see on the Big Ten Network throughout the entire season. And you see Penn State and Wisconsin in that top 5. Nebraska also in the top 10 as well.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this Big Ten season. Great freshman class coming in on a lot of teams. We're seeing some of Purdue's stars in the freshman class, so an exciting new volleyball season in the Big Ten.
And you think about the outlook for Purdue and the Big Ten Conference with so much turnover from last year's senior class. You have a young Penn State team, a Nebraska team that's maybe not as strong as they typically have been. Purdue could be in a very good spot with the returning starters that they have and the young talent to potentially go after that Big Ten title.
Well, I know Dave Shondell really does believe that, and he is encouraging his team to have that type of confidence, but they really have to execute against some of these preseason teams to gain that confidence as they walk into this Big Ten season next weekend.
Roll shot for Epinesa, just saw a space on the floor, and she had to make her way to the middle off that set.
Well, when you bring your left side attacker into the court, it opens up area for you to roll shot or tip the ball in your opponent's right front, right back area of the court. And that's exactly what she did. She saw the opening and went for it.
Set point for Purdue. Smith, another dig from Amanda Neal. Drews is stuffed. big block for the Irish.
Well, occasionally Drews will hit the ball down into the belly of the block. The advantages are height. You want to hit the ball high. And there you see the net was sealed on that cross-court corner by Notre Dame's middle blocker.
Katie Higgins, the sophomore out of Kearney, Nebraska, sealing that block for the Irish. Nickel goes back to Drews, again attempting to end it, but another stuff. It is Smith and Higgins.
A little too predictable, going back to your big swing on the right side, and Notre Dame's block was clearly ready for that one.
Crucial moment in this match between Purdue and Notre Dame. 24-23 lead for the Boilermakers, and Dave Shondell in position to win this second set. They do not want to see this one get away and have this become a tighter match, as Purdue looked to be on their way to a 2-0 lead, but just a 1-point advantage with Notre Dame serving. Topher serves at Evans, and a long run. Tip comes from Purdue, and the point, and they take a 2-0 lead. Annie Drews ends it for the Boilermakers, out of system, and it's still a point for Purdue.
Yeah, not a great defensive effort there from Notre Dame's side of the net. When you see the elbow drop and the hand open for a tip, you take off and release. Annie Drews knew that she was lucky on that one as she smiles and is happy that she got that second set under their belt.
Annie Drews, 9 kills, hitting .438 in the first 2 sets to lead Purdue, and the Boilermakers come back from 2 deficits in the first 2 sets to take the lead 2-0 heading into the intermission. We will be back in a moment with highlights and stats. The leaders through 2 sets for both of these teams. Nicole Smith, after that ankle injury, not seeming to have any problems. Now 7 kills for Notre Dame, but for Purdue, 9 kills for Annie Drews, and Val Nickel with 24 assists, but Amanda Neal in the back row. Those digs have made a huge difference for the Boilermakers in this match.
Oh, right, and she's setting a tone for her team. She's tough-minded. She's showing the effort that it takes to win a match. So she's really doing a good job in terms of that quiet leadership from just executing your little job on the court. Amanda Neal, that's the libero right there, number 7 for Purdue.
And we talked about Amanda Neal having the athleticism, and Dave Shondell has said that they like the length and the height of Amanda Neal. They want a libero with some length on this team, and it allows her to make some more plays like we see here.
Yeah, you're taller, so you're spread out a little bit longer. You've got a little bit more range defensively. But what she has is great instincts. She almost anticipates where the ball is going, and her feet are stopped at the point of attack, which I love to see. When that ball's being hit, she's stopped and she's ready to make movements after the ball's hit.
152 digs on the season so far for Amanda Neal. In this, the 12th match of the year for the Boilermakers. Trying to close it out here in the 3rd set, but Notre Dame does not want to let this one get away. They really feel like they've turned a corner after the slow start this season. Past few matches, they have been 3 of their last 4 victories for the Irish, including 2 yesterday. 3rd set underway. Nickel goes to Drews right away down the line, and she can get it done on the left side and the right.
Yeah, when she's playing in that left front position, she will swing from left side. You can stack the other way and move people around a little bit on your serve receive, but she's effective there on that left side, and so he lets her swing out there.
Out of play, point goes to Purdue. Special treat for all these Boilermaker players and the Irish players to play in Mackey Arena. We mentioned how Purdue has played here somewhat often, just about 1 or 2 times each of the past few seasons. Beat Illinois here last year in front of a record crowd. Another great scene tonight. Epinesa, big swing off the shoulder, and the point to Purdue.
So you see Purdue serving a short ball, and that's because Sam Fry is the front row middle player, and she likes to run slides. If you serve the ball short into her lane, she's not able to swing at the ball. And we see that time they serve deep, and they're able to get the ball into Fry's hands. So people often wonder, why do they put these lollipop serves over the net? You want to put the ball in play so it's in the way of the attacker's lane.
4th kill of the match for Sam Fry. And a logjah catches the line. Let's
take a look at it again. nice 31, set low, pushed away from the setter, and quick lateral step, and then an explosive last 2 steps to get to the net and get vertical.
And a great serve from Amanda Neal, make it the 7th service ace of the match for Purdue. 5-1 start in the 3rd set. It's always nice when it clips off the tape and goes over.
Got to be lucky sometimes too.
Negro with the back set and the kill for the Irish. Kenny Higgins with a point for Notre Dame.
Nice jump set, holding that middle blocker for Purdue, and that gives Higgins a nice look when she swings. She's one-on-one and scores.
Smith with the swing from well behind the 10-foot line. Bump set from Johnson goes to Smith, but it goes into the antenna. Another point to Purdue.
And that time Smith just hit the ball low. That ball dropped. Really, she didn't hit the ball at the highest point possible. So not a great swing from Notre Dame, and a big point there for Purdue.
Service there, though, from the Boilermakers. Smith will sub out. Purdue, just 2 losses on the year so far, Western Kentucky and St. Louis. As we mentioned, this could be a banner year for the Boilermakers. The one offensive player they lost from a year ago was Catherine Robarczyk. They did have 5 fifth-year seniors last year. However, most of them played in the back row or shared a setter position, but another point for KiKi Jones.
Well, KiKi Jones is in nice rhythm here. Again, she takes off as the setter is touching the ball. Full elevation when she contacts it and swings so hard. A dynamic player.
Therefore goes to Kuhn. Zarius Stahl is long. Let's see how she can get up there and the athleticism of Zarius Stahl. Nickel goes right back to Stahl. Great dig by Natalie Johnson. Nickel goes on 2 and gets the point for Purdue.
You know, I thought Nickel has been a little quiet. The dig goes right up to her. She's in a 2-person attack, which means she is in the front court. Nice dig on Notre Dame's side of the net to keep the ball alive for them, but Val Nickel controlling the ball. Again, we talked about how high she gets above the net, touches 10-5, so an aggressive attacker when she's front court.
Nickel stays with it, allows Purdue to send it back over. Workman with the save on the coverage. And the point to the Boilermakers. That rally went to Purdue because Nickel as well as Kate Workman came up with some big plays.
Well, this is where just defensive hustle will win you points. Take a look at these plays that the backcourt is making. And then conversely on the other side, Notre Dame not able to make the same sort of defensive plays to keep the ball alive on their side of the net.
And fitting that Stahl had the kill as she made the diving effort, but she got back up and finished a 9-4 lead in the 3rd for Purdue. 3rd set in West Lafayette, and KiKi Jones trying to lead the Boilermakers to a sweep over Notre Dame as she'll head back to serve. Sam Fry behind the setter for the kill.
When the ball goes into Sam Fry's hands, she's doing a good job of putting it down one-on-one. Look at that space between the blocker's hands and the antenna. She finds that seam and just nails it down the line.
Trying to make a long run for that on the slide play. Typically you just go right behind the center, but she came from the left side of the court to the right side. Nickel. Montenegro with the set to Kuhn. Stahl with the swing and does not catch a hand. 9-6 lead for Purdue, and Mackey Arena, Boiler block party enjoying the night, and you see the attendance, 7,030 here in attendance, and no surprise because the Boiler Block Party got out and get other fans and students to come to this match after the football game today, so great effort by them, and good night of volleyball in West Lafayette.
Well, Sam Fry is feeling it. She is in rhythm, and she's really the one that's keeping her team alive here in the third set, getting a lot of action behind the setter. Purdue needs to find a way to at least get touches on the ball to slow it down in the front court so that the back court has an easier time of playing it.
Ashley Evans with the swing. Good effort by the Irish and Krimmer to try to keep it alive, but Purdue gets the point.
This is where it's nice to have some versatility. Ashley Evans, what we've seen her do so far is play backcourt. She's rotated up to the front court and right away gets a big kill for her team. So it's nice when you have an athlete like that that has that versatility that can come in and help another player out if they're struggling to get a kill.
Another ace for Val Nickel. Audrey, you talk about Ashley Evans. Coming into this year, it was kind of expected that she would be the backup setter. But then the Boilermaker staff saw what she could do in the back row and the passing, serving, what she can bring. However, now getting the chance in the front row. Annie Drews into the floorboards. And Purdue with a good answer after the run by Notre Dame.
And what's different about Drews' attack this year is she's taken her first step as the setter is touching the ball. It's coming to her quicker, and she's got the feet, she's got the wheels to get to the ball quickly. So very impressive athlete, Annie Drews.
A tip over and down. Montenegro with the attempt on 2 for the kill.
So when the setter is front row, you want to be inside of her if you're a left side blocker, because you want to take away that shot, that tip that goes to the right back area of the court. So too much open court for her to swing at.
Nickel goes to Drews, but a net violation. Actually going to call it a double touch on the Boilermakers. Another chance for Drews. Rates an overpass, but cannot put it away. Neal will set. Evans is stuffed.
Non-setter touching the ball on Purdue's side of the net. The ball is set inside a little bit and tight. And so the advantage goes to the blocking team. And the name that we keep calling over and over again for Notre Dame is number 3, Sam Fry, this time with a great block at the net.
49 blocks coming into this match for Sam Fry, and she gets another. Sam Fry coming up huge for the Irish.
Everybody in Cincinnati, Ohio cheering for her. What a great freshman asset she is to this team. Debbie Brown is excited because not only does she play well, but then the energy that she has on the court can really change things on her side of the net.
Physically very agile for this Notre Dame team. She has good speed and trying to catch up with a different level of the collegiate style of play. Purdue with the 1-point lead in the third set. And the Boilermakers do not want to let this one get away. Do not want Notre Dame to feel like they're in this match and allow them to come back, because Purdue has played a few 5-setters so far this season, and it's the only way Notre Dame could come back in this one is if they were to force and win the next 2 sets and send it to 5. But Purdue has a long way to get to that point. They want to finish it off here in the third set. BTN Women's Sports Report, the most comprehensive weekly show covering all the happenings in the Big Ten with interviews, in-depth analysis, and so much more. The BTN Women's Sports Report, Wednesday night at 7 Eastern on BTN and BTN To Go. Catch that this Wednesday leading up to the conference opener between Penn State and Wisconsin in Madison. Sam Fry, freshman out of Cincinnati, owns the school record in kills and blocks at Ursuline Academy. She is showing what she can bring to this Notre Dame team and will bring for the next 4 years.
And then there's Annie Drews showing what she can do. Again, I think we mentioned it, against Western Kentucky, Drews had 33 kills. That is an amazing performance.
Drews, the first Purdue player since 2000 to pass that 30 mark, and a big swing, powerful attack from Ashley Evans.
Well, and it's a crossing play, very nicely executed. You're going to see how she starts off in the right side of the court and then circles around and hits the ball in the middle of the court. So as a blocker, you have to call out where your hitter is going and communicate in that front court.
Fry finds the corner as she goes down the line. Another for Sam Fry. And Audrey, we talk about Annie Drews and that number of 33 kills. If I would have told you before this season that Ariel Turner never surpassed 30 kills, would you have believed me?
Yeah, you would have thought that Annie Drews would never have done anything better than Turner. She was an outstanding player, but yeah, the numbers that Drews is getting so far this season are really impressive. We'll have to see if she can maintain that sort of tempo here when the Big Ten season starts.
Now up to 12 kills for Annie Drews, hitting .476. Just huge numbers for Drews in the non-conference season. Higgins on the slide, puts it down.
Well, I like the fight that Notre Dame is showing. They're not backing down at all. In fact, I feel like their serve-receive game has gotten better. They're taking big swings at the ball, and they're setting a lot of stuff behind the setter. It seems to be working for them here in the third set.
Out of play on the air, the point to Purdue. 15-13 lead for the Boilermakers in the third set.
And those are those errors, those dumb errors that you just don't want to make. As you're gaining momentum, you want to keep the pressure on your opponent and not swing out of bounds.
Save in the back row by Evans. Epinesa puts it down.
Well, Ashley Evans defensively 6'1", but boy, is she ever good at getting balls outside of her body defensively. Really stretches and keeps a lot of the balls off the court.
And another ace for the Boilermakers, make it number 9.
You know, in the second set, that's where I think the difference was. Purdue outblocked and served tougher than Notre Dame, and that's how they won that second set. It seems like here, that's exactly what they're doing. Very aggressive serves from the end line.
9 aces for Purdue, just 2 for Notre Dame. Ashley Evans, you talk about her play in the back row. She is the glue, according to Dave Shondell, but she's a player who's second on this team in digs, and she wasn't even expected to get into that lineup. She was going to be a backup this year. You
know, it's amazing. Kids, they see an opportunity, an area where they can help out, and, you know, she has risen to that challenge. She is a great defender, a great server, you know, and the fact that she has great ball control is going to be a huge asset to this Purdue team because, like we mentioned, they already have a lot of swings. It's that ball control that's so necessary. One of those things that people sometimes overlook, but, you know, you got to pass it to pound it, and that's exactly what she provides for this team.
Another huge asset for this Purdue team is Annie Drews, who has come through with those 12 kills in this match. She had 17 kills yesterday against St. Louis, and it just all continues to go well for Annie Drews this season.
Yeah, and what is impressive is the serve receive she hits from that left side, and look how far back she is when she starts her approach, and then she flies in the air. Her speed coming off the net is just as fast as her approach coming toward the net. At southpaw, man, it's a hammer.
Lefty on the right side, tough to defend, tough to get that block up. This is a Purdue team that has 8 upperclassmen, 8 freshmen, good balance for Dave Shondell. He really likes the enthusiasm of his freshman class, and he feels like it's a new Purdue with the enthusiasm that the freshmen bring in that balances out with that upperclassman group. A key kill for Notre Dame out of that timeout. Must have that one if they're going to stay in this match.
That's right, so a quick set behind the setter. In order for that to be executed, the pass has to be there. If not, you go to the audible, which is a high set, and that makes the block's job a lot easier. So quicker offense puts a lot of pressure on the blocking team.
KiKi Jones, and a good job on serve receive to pass that one straight to Nickel, and that was Evans.
That's right, and Val Nickel here, you see her jump setting and holding that block for Notre Dame. You see that blocker committed fully with Nickel, and that puts her hitter one-on-one.
2 attackers behind the setter for Notre Dame. Those are the only 2 options that Purdue sat on.
Let's take a look at it again. Ball goes up to the setter. You've got a quick behind and then the slide, but it did not fool Purdue. They waited till the ball was set and followed the ball.
Kuhn is stuffed, and a big block for Val Nickel.
Boy, I am so impressed with what she can do. Forget about her setting ability. She flat out dominates when she's one-on-one. That great penetration. And again, like defensively and her serving, boy, she has been so impressive today.
Talked a lot about how Val Nickel has matured. She has said that she has matured. Said it took her 3 years to realize she was a very selfish player in her freshman year, and a big difference now as she does everything for this Purdue team.
So there you see a short serve again from Purdue. Great serving tactics right now. Serving short to eliminate that slide attack behind the setter. The block can focus on all the hitters in front of the setter.
7-point lead for the Boilermakers. 4 points from taking this match in 3 sets. Another short serve. Was a Negro to Kuhn. Neal with the diving effort. Dimke saves it. Evans with the swing, off the tape, and the point for Purdue.
There are times when Purdue looks great, and this is one of the plays. Look at that defensive get, second contact, hustling off the court to get it. And Shondell has got to be impressed with the defensive effort he's seeing from his team.
A mistake by the Irish, and wheels coming off for Notre Dame, 23-14. Kate Workman has kept the Irish on their heels with her serving. 6-0 run for the Boilermakers on Workman's serve. That time, though, does not reach over, and that's the danger in that short serve. Sometimes you don't make it past the net.
Right, and she's smiling. You know, you just have to have that light tap on the ball, and you want to serve up high. And so, you know, we're always wanting to serve so aggressively that to take so much off of the ball seems a little weird at times, but she did do a nice job while she had control.
Evans with a big swing. It is match point for the Boilermakers.
Evans getting the opportunity to play front court, and she has delivered for her team. She's well behind that 10-foot line, and again, goes up strong, hitting the ball high off the net.
Sam Fry, though, keeps the Irish alive. No surprise that is where Notre Dame went. That has worked throughout this entire match.
It's always nice when you see a freshman dominate like that. You've got to be so impressed with her competitive spirit. She's not giving up. Again, just a freshman.
8 kills for Sam Fry to lead the Irish. Back to Evans. That'll do it off the block. Purdue wins it in straight sets over Notre Dame.
Well, a nice win for Purdue. They looked really strong, struggled a little bit in the first set, but here in the third set, boy, it was all Purdue. They had complete control of that last set.
Boilermakers hit 307 for the match, 429 in the set. A lot of it went to Ashley Evans. She had 6 kills in the match, and one more look at the final point.
Nice delay, hitting high off the blocker's hands, taking advantage of a block that's up high, but not over. Just wipe off shot.
Purdue takes the Active Ankle Challenge Championship. We will come back to wrap things up in a moment. Purdue beats Notre Dame in straight sets.